Hey, how you doing today? I am Tequila Coleman. In today's video, I'm going to answer this question. Do you believe God ordains unequally yoked marriages? Now she goes on, to talk about the marriage she was in that, she later felt like it was unequally yoked and God didn't ordain it, right? So when we talk about, if, do I believe if God ordains unequally yoked marriages? No, because the Bible clearly tells us not to be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Now, yesterday when I was live, the question came up: why are we seeing God pairing the chosen ones up with all of these prodigals, right? These prodigal spouses, and that's a great question, and it can make you wonder, like, God, you trying to put me together with someone who is an unbeliever? But that's not the case, okay? The truth of the matter is, Satan, is just running rampant in this world, right? And because we don't have a lot of people believing in the power of prayer, right? And when we have a lot of people not really believing in the power of prayer, we don't pray, right? And we're not praying because when you do pray, you don't see your prayers answered, right? So, which brings about a lack of belief in prayer, right? Which also allows the enemy to continue to run rampant in this world, right? And so God gave me a revelation a couple of years ago how the enemy is after our man, how, this when I was serving in a single mother community, how the enemy was targeting fathers. And this is why you see a lot of single mothers, and this is why you see a lot of absent fathers or even deadbeat dads, because the enemy already know, if I can remove the man from out of the household, out of his children's lives, there is no household. The children will be raised without an identity, right? Because fathers, well, men in general, they give identity, okay? When you get married to your husband, you take on his last name, so that's identity, right? Fathers also protect and provide. So the enemy know, if I can remove these men out of the home as husband and also as fathers, there's no protection over the wives or the children, right? So he targets our man, and you know how he targets the man? By operating in our women. Sometimes we can dress real seductive, right? And some of us have that Jezebel spirit on the operation on the inside of us, right? And so he would use that, because he know men are visual, and he already know, if I can place this woman in front of this man and I already know the spirit that's on the inside of her, I can influence this woman to go ahead and keep this man distracted and keep him, pull him away from his heavenly father and pull him over here off into sin, right? And there's other ways how the enemy, pulls the man from their heavenly father. It can be their own vices, right? It could be keep them occupied at work all the time, where they just never at home. They just always at work, right? They idol is money, right? But I say all that to say, okay, so God, he's not going to he's not ordaining, okay, unequally yoked marriages, okay? But the reason why we see a lot of prodigals or a lot of chosen ones being paired up with these prodigals is because, God is calling the chosen ones to stand praying on behalf of your God ordained prodigal spouse, because see, when God has chosen your spouse, that means the two of you are already married in the spirit realm, okay? He already chosen this. It's already ordained in the spiritual realm. So now it's all about, okay, let me get these two on walking on one accord, right? Let me have this believing spouse praying over her unbelieving spouse, because God already know the power of prayer. Prayer gives God permission to come in and act on our behalf on this situation, to come in, bring correction, to come in, heal the heart, right? To come in, bring judgment where judgment is needed, right? To come in and remove whatever needs to be removed. So God will have his chosen ones, the believing spouse, to stand and pray over this God ordained prodigal spouse. And God isn't trying to punish us, because he's a good father, and he comes in and he create a divine separation, because the two of you, he cannot allow this God ordained prodigal spouse to stay in the presence of his believing spouse, his chosen one, because the two of you are not walking on one accord. The prodigal spouse is not even believing in God. So this is why God steps in, causes a divine separation, because he's protecting his chosen one from the enemy that is in operation through the prodigal spouse. Okay, so he would take he's taking both of us through this process of healing, restoration, correction. You know, there's some judgment going on in here. It's all designed to get the two of you now equally yoked and now walking on one accord. Now the two of you are now heading in the same direction. And this is going to take a process. You got to be patient in this process, okay? It's not going to happen overnight. And you got to really be in tune with God, because if you choose to stay in the presence of a prodigal and he has the door open to the enemy, you will continue to get your heart hurt. You will continue to see false start. You will feel like God is punishing you, or he's mad at you, or you know, like you will begin to question God, why did you have this for me, right? When God said, no, daughter, I've been told you to leave. You're not listening. Okay, so God is a good father, but I don't believe God ordains unequally yoked marriages, okay? He will choose a prodigal spouse to be your God ordained spouse, but even though while he's choosing them, he's still protecting his chosen one by creating this divine separation while he go ahead and deal with that God ordained prodigal spouse, okay? So that is it. I am Tequila Coleman. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a positive comment. I'll talk to you all real soon. Take care.